In the affluent suburb of Maplewood, Sarah Thompson lived in a sprawling mansion that reflected her success as a businesswoman. As the CEO of a thriving tech company, she had built her empire from the ground up. However, despite her professional achievements, Sarah faced a personal challenge that weighed heavily on her heart. Her son, Ethan, was diagnosed with autism at a young age. Ethan was a bright and imaginative child, but he struggled with communication and social interactions. His world was often filled with silence, and Sarah longed to connect with him on a deeper level. She tried various therapies and educational programs, but nothing seemed to resonate with Ethan. He often withdrew into his own world, finding solace in music and art rather than in spoken language. In her quest to provide the best for Ethan, Sarah decided to hire a housekeeper to help manage the household and provide some companionship for her son. Enter Maria, a warm-hearted woman in her late 30s who had recently immigrated from a small village in South America. Maria was not only skilled in household management, but also had a passion for languages. She spoke several fluently, including Spanish, Portuguese, and even some French and Italian. At first, Sarah viewed Maria as just another employee, someone to help with chores and keep the house in order. However, she soon noticed something remarkable. Maria had a unique way of interacting with Ethan. Instead of simply talking to him, Maria engaged him in playful activities that incorporated music, art, and movement. She would sing songs in different languages, encouraging Ethan to join in, and use colorful flashcards to teach him new words. One afternoon, Sarah returned home early from work and found Maria sitting on the floor with Ethan, surrounded by a rainbow of art supplies. They were creating a mural together, and Maria was teaching Ethan the names of colors in Spanish. To Sarah's surprise, Ethan was not only participating but was also smiling and laughing, a sight that warmed her heart. Intrigued, Sarah began to observe their interactions more closely. She watched as Maria used storytelling to introduce new vocabulary, weaving tales that captivated Ethan's imagination. Maria's approach was unconventional, but it seemed to resonate with Ethan in a way that traditional methods had not. Sarah felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this was the breakthrough she had been searching for. As the days turned into weeks, Sarah found herself drawn into Maria's world. She began to engage with Ethan during their sessions, asking questions and participating in the activities. Maria encouraged Sarah to embrace the joy of learning alongside Ethan, emphasizing that language was not just about words but about connection and expression. Despite her initial skepticism, Sarah started to see the potential in Ethan that she had overlooked. He was not just a child with autism. He was a curious and creative individual with a unique perspective on the world. Maria's influence began to change the dynamics of their household, fostering an environment of exploration and discovery. However, Sarah also grappled with her own fears and insecurities. As a single mother, she felt the weight of societal expectations and the pressure to conform to traditional parenting norms. She worried about what other parents would think if they knew she was allowing her son to learn languages in such an unconventional manner. Yet, as she witnessed Ethan's progress, her resolve began to strengthen. In this first part of the story, we see the initial setup of Sarah's life, her struggles as a mother, and the introduction of Maria as a transformative figure in Ethan's life. The stage is set for a journey of discovery, connection, and the breaking down of barriers. As the weeks passed, Sarah's initial curiosity about Maria's teaching methods blossomed into admiration. One day, she decided to surprise them by coming home early from work. As she entered the house, she heard laughter echoing from the living room. Peeking around the corner, she was taken aback by the sight before her. Maria was leading Ethan in a lively game where they were both mimicking animal sounds in different languages. "Ethan, can you say perro for dog in Spanish?" Maria asked, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Perro!" Ethan exclaimed, his face lighting up with joy. Sarah felt a rush of emotions: pride, relief, and a sense of wonder. This was the first time she had seen Ethan so engaged and animated. It was as if Maria had unlocked a door to Ethan's heart and mind that had long been closed. After the game, Sarah approached them, her heart racing with excitement. "I didn't know he could do that," she said, her voice filled with awe. Maria smiled warmly. "Ethan has so much potential. He just needs the right environment to express himself. Language is a bridge, and I'm here to help him cross it." Intrigued by Maria's perspective, Sarah began to ask more questions about her teaching methods. Maria explained her philosophy: children learn best when they are having fun. For Ethan, I use music, art, and play to teach him languages. It's not just about memorizing words, it's about creating connections. As Sarah listened, she felt a shift within herself. She realized that she had been so focused on Ethan's challenges that she had overlooked his strengths. Maria's approach was not just about language acquisition, it was about fostering a sense of belonging and self-expression. Inspired by this revelation, Sarah decided to take a more active role in Ethan's learning journey. She began to participate in their sessions, joining in the games and activities. Together, they explored different cultures through food, music, and art. Sarah found herself learning alongside Ethan, discovering the beauty of diversity and the joy of connection. However, as Sarah embraced this new approach, she also faced challenges. Other parents in the community began to notice Ethan's progress, but not all of them were supportive. Some questioned Sarah's unconventional methods, suggesting that she should focus on more traditional educational practices. "Why not just stick to one language?" they would ask. "Isn't it confusing for him?" These comments stung, and Sarah found herself grappling with self-doubt. Was she making the right choice for Ethan? Was she setting him up for failure by encouraging him to learn multiple languages? In moments of uncertainty, Sarah turned to Maria for guidance. "What if I'm doing this all wrong?" she confessed one evening as they sat together after Ethan had gone to bed. Maria placed a reassuring hand on Sarah's shoulder. "Trust your instincts. You know Ethan better than anyone. The most important thing is that he is happy and engaged. Language is a tool for connection, and you are giving him the gift of communication." With Maria's encouragement, Sarah began to stand firm in her beliefs. She realized that every child is unique, and what works for one may not work for another. She decided to focus on Ethan's progress rather than the opinions of others. As the bond between Sarah, Ethan, and Maria deepened, they became a family unit that supported one another. Sarah found herself not only advocating for Ethan, but also for other children with autism in the community. She began to organize workshops and support groups, sharing Maria's methods with other parents who were struggling to connect with their children. In this second part of the story, we witness the discovery of Ethan's potential through Maria's unconventional teaching methods. Sarah's journey of self-discovery and advocacy begins as she learns to trust her instincts and embrace the beauty of diversity in education. As the months rolled on, the transformation in Ethan was nothing short of remarkable. He began to communicate more effectively, using words from different languages and expressing himself in ways that surprised Sarah. The house became a vibrant space filled with laughter, music, and the sounds of different languages. One afternoon, Sarah decided to host a small gathering for friends and family to showcase Ethan's progress. She wanted to celebrate not only his achievements, but also the incredible bond they had formed as a family. As guests arrived, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. Would they understand the journey she and Ethan had taken? Would they appreciate the unconventional methods that had brought about such positive change? As the gathering began, Sarah introduced Maria and shared their story. She spoke about the challenges they had faced and the breakthroughs they had achieved together. Then, she invited Ethan to share what he had learned. With a shy smile, Ethan stepped forward. "Hola. My name is Ethan," he said, his voice steady. "I can say hello in 9 languages." The room fell silent as everyone turned their attention to him. With Maria's encouragement, Ethan began to demonstrate his newfound skills, greeting each guest in a different language. "Bonjour. Ciao. And I how," he exclaimed, his confidence growing with each word. The guests erupted in applause, and Sarah felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. This was the moment she had dreamed of, a moment where Ethan could shine and be celebrated for who he was. As the evening progressed, guests mingled and engaged with Ethan, asking him questions about his favorite languages and cultures. To Sarah's delight, she saw Ethan responding with enthusiasm, sharing stories and even teaching some of the guests simple phrases. It was a beautiful sight. Ethan was not just participating, he was thriving. However, amidst the celebration, Sarah also faced challenges. Some guests expressed skepticism about her approach, questioning whether it was truly beneficial for Ethan to learn multiple languages. "Isn't it overwhelming for him?" one friend asked. "What if he gets confused?" These comments stung, but Sarah stood her ground. Ethan is thriving because he is learning in a way that resonates with him. It's not about traditional methods, it's about finding what works for him. As the night came to a close, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. She realized that her journey was not just about Ethan, it was about advocating for all children with autism and challenging societal norms. Inspired by the support of her friends and family, she decided to take her advocacy to the next level. In the following months, Sarah and Maria collaborated to create a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting children with autism through language and cultural education. They aimed to provide resources, workshops, and community events that would promote inclusivity and celebrate diversity. As they worked tirelessly to launch the organization, Sarah found herself more empowered than ever. She began to connect with other parents who shared similar experiences, and together they formed a supportive network. They organized events that showcased the talents of children with autism, providing them with a platform to shine. Ethan continued to flourish, and his progress became a source of inspiration for others. He began to participate in community events, sharing his love for languages and cultures with those around him. Sarah watched with pride as her son transformed from a shy child into a confident young ambassador for inclusivity. In this third part of the story, we witness the transformation of Ethan and the impact it has on Sarah's life. The challenges they face together strengthen their bond, and Sarah's advocacy work begins to take shape as she fights for a more inclusive world for children with autism. The culmination of Sarah's journey came in the form of a community event that she had organized to celebrate diversity and inclusion. The event was designed to showcase the talents of children with autism and promote the importance of unconventional teaching methods. Sarah was both excited and nervous as the day approached, knowing that this event could be a turning point for many families in the community. As the day of the event arrived, the venue was filled with colorful decorations, cultural displays, and booths featuring various languages and traditions. Families gathered, eager to learn and celebrate the unique abilities of their children. Sarah felt a sense of pride as she looked around at the vibrant atmosphere they had created together. Ethan was set to perform a special presentation, showcasing his language skills and sharing stories from different cultures. As he prepared backstage, Sarah could see the excitement in his eyes. This was his moment to shine, and she knew how much it meant to him. When it was time for Ethan to take the stage, Sarah's heart raced with anticipation. As he stepped into the spotlight, the audience erupted in applause. With a confident smile, Ethan greeted everyone in multiple languages, his voice ringing clear and strong. "Hello, hola, bonjour, ciao, and I how," Ethan exclaimed, his voice ringing clear and strong. The audience responded with cheers and applause, their faces lighting up with joy as they witnessed his enthusiasm. Sarah felt a swell of pride in her chest. This was the culmination of all their hard work, love, and dedication. Ethan continued, "Today, I want to share stories from different cultures. Each language has its own magic, and I want to show you how beautiful they are." He began to tell a story in Spanish about a brave little bird who traveled the world, meeting friends from various countries. As he spoke, he incorporated words and phrases in different languages, seamlessly transitioning from one to another. The audience was captivated, hanging on his every word. As Ethan shared his story, Sarah noticed the way the audience leaned in, their expressions filled with wonder. She could see parents exchanging glances, their eyes reflecting a mix of pride and hope. This was more than just a performance. It was a celebration of diversity, a testament to the power of connection through language. After finishing his story, Ethan took a deep breath and smiled brightly. "Thank you for listening. Now, I want to teach you some words in different languages." He invited the audience to join him in repeating simple phrases, creating an interactive experience that brought everyone together. Laughter and joy filled the room as families participated, echoing Ethan's words and embracing the spirit of learning. As the event continued, Sarah took the stage to share her journey. She spoke passionately about the challenges they had faced and the breakthroughs they had achieved together. "Ethan has taught me that every child is unique, and we must embrace their individuality. Language is not just a tool for communication, it's a bridge that connects us to one another," she said, her voice steady and filled with conviction. She emphasized the importance of unconventional teaching methods, sharing how Maria's approach had transformed Ethan's life. "We need to create environments where children can thrive, where they can express themselves freely and explore the world around them. Together, we can break down barriers and celebrate the beauty of diversity." As Sarah spoke, she could see the impact her words were having on the audience. Parents nodded in agreement, some even wiping away tears. It was a moment of solidarity, a shared understanding that resonated deeply within the community. After her speech, Sarah invited Maria to join her on stage. The audience erupted in applause as Maria stepped forward, her eyes shining with pride. "I am so grateful to be part of Ethan's journey," she said, her voice warm and genuine. "Every child has a unique story to tell, and it is our responsibility to help them find their voice." The event concluded with a celebration of cultures, featuring music, dance, and food from around the world. Families mingled, sharing their own stories and experiences. Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment as she watched Ethan interact with other children, his confidence shining through. He was no longer just a boy with autism. He was a young ambassador for inclusivity, inspiring others to embrace their differences. In the weeks that followed, the event sparked a movement within the community. Parents began to reach out to Sarah and Maria, eager to learn more about their methods and how they could support their own children. Sarah organized workshops and support groups, creating a safe space for families to share their experiences and learn from one another. As the nonprofit organization took shape, Sarah and Maria worked tirelessly to develop resources and programs that would benefit children with autism. They collaborated with educators, therapists, and community leaders to create inclusive educational practices that celebrated diversity and fostered connection. Ethan continued to thrive, and his progress became a source of inspiration for many. He began to participate in community events, sharing his love for languages and cultures with those around him. Sarah watched with pride as her son transformed from a shy child into a confident young ambassador for inclusivity. One day, as they were preparing for another community event, Ethan turned to Sarah and said, "Mom, I want to help other kids like me. I want them to know that they can do anything." His words filled Sarah's heart with joy. She realized that Ethan had not only found his voice, but had also become a beacon of hope for others. As the story comes to a close, Sarah reflects on the journey they have taken together. She understands that the path has not always been easy, but it has been filled with love, growth, and connection. The bond between Sarah, Ethan, and Maria has become unbreakable, and they have created a family that supports one another through every challenge. In the final scene, Sarah, Ethan, and Maria stand together at a community event, surrounded by families celebrating their unique stories. As they look out at the crowd, Sarah feels a sense of hope for the future. They have not only changed their own lives, but have also inspired a community to embrace diversity and inclusivity. Together, we can make a difference, Sarah says, her voice filled with determination. Let's continue to break down barriers and celebrate the beauty of every child's journey. As the sun sets on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the gathering, Sarah knows that this is just the beginning. With love, support, and a commitment to inclusivity, they will continue to create a world where every child can thrive, regardless of their challenges.